Well, hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest 2A propaganda. The big giant news earlier this week was a federal judge ruled federal restrictions on machine guns are unconstitutional.
Stop.
The part some people weren't saying quite as loud, though, was as applied to the particular appellant in this case. That means it really has no immediate profound effect on us. That's not to say this case doesn't matter, though. U.S. District Judge Carlton Reeves, an Obama appointee, I am Jack's complete lack of surprise, openly criticized Supreme Court gun rights rulings in his opinion, saying the Heller, McDonald, and Bruen decisions did not trust that local and state lawmakers had protected their citizens' Second Amendment rights or would protect them going forward.
Indeed.
Yeah. You see, that's only because those lawmakers did not protect our rights and have instead passed numerous laws which blatantly defy the Second Amendment. But he did grudgingly admit the Bruen precedent forces him to find the federal government's prohibition on owning an unregistered machine gun is unconstitutional. Now, the guy who appealed his conviction filed the appeal as applied, so this ruling only applies to him, but as Justice Reeves noted, the Fifth Circuit has held that cases like this are needed to determine the contours of acceptable prosecutions through the resolution of continual as-applied challenges.
What is that, Old English?
Hey, you gotta hand it to the guy for following the law despite his personal prejudices, though. What do you think? But you know, it would be impossible for us to produce quality 2A propaganda without sponsors. So let's pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by 1776 Insurance. Most homeowners' policies only cover up to $2,500 for firearms. I don't know about you, but I've got more than that in just optics. 1776 gives you comprehensive coverage against breakage, theft, fire, and burglary for all your guns, and you don't have to give them your serial numbers. The Electronic Frontier Foundation exposed the Los Angeles Sheriff Department for illegally using the California Law Enforcement Telecommunications System, or CLETS.
Who names these things anyway?
They are explicitly prohibited from using it to check concealed carry permit applicants, but they got caught doing it about 7,000 times in 2023. What's more, deputies are generally not even disciplined for breaking the law. They just get more training. Other officers who misused the system did get at least some punishment, like, for example, a Redding cop who got fired after he used it to get his fiance's ex's car impounded.
These things happen.
But he just got hired by another department anyway. The EFF notes there are several database systems available to Calistani cops, but CLETS is the only one with mandatory reporting for abuse, so it's likely there's actually a lot more misuse going on with the other systems. Pam Bondi is a Turbofartsack, but there's not much we can really do about it now. We never really had much chance of stopping her nomination as AG, really. She's been joined at the hip with Trump since his first term, where her influence can largely be blamed for his take the guns first position. And she obviously still has his attention. So we can kiss any hopes of Trump directing his attorney general to sue states for draconian laws goodbye. In fact, Pam Bondi is such a turbo-fartsack, I just found out she pulled funding from the alcohol and tobacco portions of the ATF so they'd have more available to infringe on us with. The most we can realistically hope for is she doesn't send the ATF on a holy war.
But the most we can hope for is to get you buried in secrecy so your grave don't get violated.
I mean, obviously, if the other team won, the best case scenario would be a continuation of the Inquisition, which has put countless FFLs out of business over minor typos made by customers. But there is a real strong possibility that she gets it in her head that she needs to crusade against home squirting or binary triggers or who knows. There's just no telling what wacky stuff she might get in her head. Because you never really know what boogeyman will get the control freak's attention next. Apparently, F-Troop is really freaked out about police departments selling off guns now. And for once, I agree with the ATF.
What in the actual...
Police departments should not sell their guns directly to the public. Instead, they should give them away to low-income families. In all seriousness, it is more or less standard practice for police departments to trade in their old guns for credit when replacing duty guns, and the dealers they trade them to obviously sell them off at discount because they're used. The ATF didn't explicitly beg police departments to stop selling off old guns, but they did urge them to reconsider policies. But even if you ignore the obvious budgetary problem incurred when you just buy all your guns new and get nothing for trade-in, departments are often constrained by city ordinance or state law, and they can't do anything else. But the real problem here is the ATF is entirely too comfortable making an official political policy statement. Government agencies shouldn't be allowed to advocate for policy, especially where it could interface with constitutional rights in some way. What do you guys think? Should ATF even be allowed to have this opinion? Hollow point handgun ammunition is designed to expand when it strikes tissue to slow it down more quickly to limit penetration. It also slightly increases the severity of a wound, which can result in fewer shots fired for a stop. Both factors reduce risk to innocent bystanders, and that's why virtually every law enforcement agency in the country issues jacketed hollow point duty ammo, but it's illegal in the state of New Jersey because politicians there have an extra virulent form of a condition known as head all the way up ass.
All the way up there?
Don't get me wrong, they still made an exemption for the King's men, of course, because they always do, but it's illegal for commoners to use hollow points in New Jersey outside the home. But GOA's team of pipe-hitting lawyers are about to fix that problem. It should be a slam dunk under the Heller decision, given that hollow points are the most common form of ammo in use for defense. And New Jersey's law is obviously vulnerable under Bruin as well, so of course the GOA lawyers will exploit that angle too. But to be successful, the GOA needs to keep its herd of lawyers fed and watered, and that's not free. So do your part and go to donate.gunowners.org and flip them some eddies. Come on, you were just going to spend that money on Nekomimi ears for your Peltors anyway, weren't you? And now, for your moment of zen.
All right, sweetie, open wide. Oh, did you make a mess? Here, let's get you some more. There you go. You want some more? Yeah, there you go.
Hey friend, do you like pews and pew-related things? Would you like to help us keep delivering you? We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.